about 8 hostages who were held at Westgate last week. I've spoken to victims who were shot. I've spoken to many people that have lost loved ones. And you may not know this, but your words of encouragement are unbelievable. I've gotten a lot of messages from the people who've appeared on AM Live. I've gotten messages from people who even haven't, and they've said, NTV, thank you so much for sending us the feedback from across the country. And you don't know that your line of encouragement can touch someone's life and will encourage them to really get strength and know that we are there for them. So continue to send the messages, all right? We launched Women's World, all right, a segment that seeks to celebrate different women from all walks of life who are motivating not just other women, but Kenya as a whole. Nthenya Masuko is just one of a kind lady who does just that. We'll be speaking to her shortly, but before that, take a look at this.
My name is Nthenya Masharia. I am an image consultant. I train individuals and corporates in 3 areas. That's appearance, behavior, and communication. We call that the ABC. I have a high school peer-to-peer mentorship program that is in partnership with the Ministry of Education and Vision 2030. Getting into the market was quite the challenge because companies didn't want to spend money training their staff because they felt that there'd be a huge turnover or the people would be poached if they became really good. We also had challenges with getting people to understand why they needed to invest in themselves and spend money to be taught certain life skills that they didn't have before. I'll tell you, one of the things that I have done is found that training people who are a lot older takes a lot more work. For me, success is not a destination. It's actually a journey that I'm walking, and every day that I'm alive, I'm excited to be part of creating stories that my generation will be happy to hear about. Our curriculum then helps to bring these life skills to young people, as I said before, at a young age, meaning that we will have a generation of young people who will value the things that are meant to be valued and who will give emphasis and put their time and their effort, one, to take care of themselves and make sure that their bodies, their lives reflect the lives that we as Kenyans would love for them to have. The first power is in your mind. We must get off the whole tunaomba serikali, we need people to do this, to do that for us. I'll say as an entrepreneur, I started out with nothing, literally. And I know you probably hear this story often when people tell it, but it was, I went and begged for my first job, and I remember them paying me a loose 5,000 Kenya shillings. And at that point, it was a lot of money. And it was what I used to start my business. And for me, I would be the receptionist, I would be the accountant, I'd be like, hold the line. And I'm the same person because I had a dream and a goal. And I always would like to encourage young people that vision comes first. If you can see it, you can achieve it. If you can believe it, then you're able to do it. But as far as image goes, I also tell them, you must look the part. You cannot climb the ladder of success dressed in the costume of a clown. There's no way. You can't just be shady and think that people, just because we are youth, that people should give you a chance. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you do good. If you do good, then you can change the world. And you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
A few weeks ago when we launched Women's World, we got an influx of messages about that beautiful woman. Nthenya Masharia is here this morning to tell us her story and to encourage you at this trying time. Hi.
Hi.
How are you, Mama?
I'm
It's
wonderful.
so good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
closer to you.
You can come closer to me.
Yes, there you go.
You look beautiful.
And you. I
The
love
women
this.
doing wonderful things.
I know, look
it's
at
exciting.
her. I'm very honored for you to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, yes, you were one of the people who literally from the moment that we launched it, everyone was like, Nthenya, call Nthenya. Go be called Nthenya. I was like, I know her. And you have even influenced very many young people. Tell us your story, Nthenya. Where did it all start?
First, I should say I'm humbled.
Yeah.
And it's an honor to be here and to share my story, because I think it's in sharing our stories, we don't share them enough, that people will get encouraged and begin to also do stuff on their own.
Nice.
So for me, it started with, I was in the events business for PR and events for, I'd say, the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And then somewhere mid-sentence, I'd be like, people don't look the part when they come to the functions. They don't know what fork and knife to use. There's something missing.
Yeah.
And it was at that point that I thought there must be something else.
Okay.
And so I went online and found image consulting and actually applied, went to a school in South Africa and studied how to be an image consultant.
Yes. Now, very important, obviously, in terms of where Kenya has grown in such a quick, you know.
I went 7 years ago, and when I first came back and said I'm an image consultant, people look at me like,
and now everybody.
And now people actually are willing to pay the price and are willing to actually improve themselves.
Absolutely.
So it's a very good thing.
Why do you think it's important for you to be confident, to have your image in check, to know who you are, to have your identity solid before you step out into this crazy world?
I'll start with the basics.
Yeah.
God created us in his image and in his likeness. We were created to look like God and be like God. But then the world then gave us other pictures of what real beauty is.
Right.
The media has its own ideas of what people should be and do. And so it's going back to figure out who you are and what you are created to do. Mm-hmm. That's very important. Because once that's sorted, then everything else falls in line.
It does.
What you need to do with your life, where you need to go, the people you need to interact with will be sorted once you've identified who you are. If you haven't, then you're going to find yourself trying to be like Kobe.
Right.
The next day you're trying to be like Beyonce. The next day you're trying to be like Obama.
Yeah.
And yet, those are not technically who you are created to be like. That's why it's important.
Of course. Being a woman and trying to start something new, never really tapped into before, coming into an industry that is very, very new and fertile, and still really trying to hustle and make it into a corporate world that has been dominated by men. What can you say about that? Challenging, isn't it?
It's challenging. I will say, though, in the rest of the world, the image world is actually women-based.
Yes.
There are a lot of women. In Kenya, and I'll say, we were the people who started the groundwork. I did a lot of interviews when I first came. Now I've left it to the guys to do it.
Right.
And moved on to what I feel is a lot more important, which is empowering young people. So beyond doing the image consulting, I have a high school mentorship program in the schools. Because I think if we train them at that young age, then we're not going to go through that whole trying to fix it when they're at work, showing them what fork and knife to use or how to dress. Let's fix it. It's too late. It's too late. Let's fix it when their minds are just forming, as opposed to when they've already set their minds and they can't be told.
Of course.
And so I do have a high school peer-to-peer mentorship program in partnership with the Ministry of Education, where we bring life skills, we bring everything to do with grooming and how to be. Then hopefully we can raise a generation of young people who will take over what the other people have done and do it right. And take it then to the next level.
Nthenya, if anyone was to look at you now looking so fabulous, they would think that
you
fell on your lap, you know? That any opportunities just showed up, and because you're pretty, because people know who you are, because you have clout, that you just got it, you know? But the uphill task of trying to achieve your dream and to do it as passionately as possible and still make some profit, it's a tough thing, isn't it?
I will say it is tough, but life is about challenges. If life was not tough, then we'd probably be just chilling at home and vegging and
exactly.
And yet we were created to do stuff. In fact, our brains are teleological. We like things to do, and we like missions. We like things to accomplish. We like goals, and it's part of life. And so the challenges are part of that, which is a good thing because they help us engage our brain and use a little bigger part of our brain than we would if we were just flipping channels and chilling.
Right, yeah.
And so yes, it's been challenging, but if your eyes are on the goal, if your eyes are on the prize, not that I've reached where I want to be,
Okay.
but I'm on that journey. And for me, success is not a destination.
Right.
So, okay, so are we figured?
Yeah.
Success is, it's a journey.
Right.
And once I reach one goal and one milestone, I move to the next one. And I keep giving myself higher targets that I'm competing against myself,
Right.
not against my neighbor or the other people that I think are doing well.
Okay.
And so for me, doing well is about living in purpose and doing what I was created to do, which is making people happy, empowering their lives, and showing them that how they look on the outside plays a very key role in them getting to where they want to be.
Of course.
I often say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Yeah.
And so you can't be rocking up looking funny and then expect to be successful.
Exactly. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't.
Kenmi Jungo and I were talking about sometimes the fact that this job may make you feel that you live in a vacuum. If we're here, we're at Nation, we're working, we're trying to get the story out, we're trying to go live from KICC for the national prayer, and you say something and it's slight and it's a bit, you know, you don't even think much about it until you hear what you've done in someone else's life, how you've influenced them, how you've changed their way of thinking. And that, I think, was the most interesting angle for me in terms of you coming on the show, is that so many people are like, Nthenya literally changed the direction of my life. She changed the way I view people, she changed the way I view myself, she changed the way I interact with other people. It's important that we love ourselves first.
I think it's true what you've said.
Before.
That we must love ourselves. We usually say, love others as you love yourself.
Yeah.
But the problem is most of us don't love ourselves enough. And the way we don't love ourselves is what we do with our body, how we treat ourselves, how we talk to ourselves. Some people are like the most brilliant, the most beautiful, but they keep putting themselves down with their words. And so it takes a person like Nthenya who will come and say, Kobe, you're amazing. What you're doing is transforming people's lives, and you can even do it in a greater scale.
Right.
Do more. You know, I try to push people to reach greater limits that they never thought.
Right.
But I'll tell you this, the power of life and death is in our tongue.
You think so? You believe that?
It is in what we say. I'll give you God said, let there be light.
Yes.
He could have said, it's dark, it's bad, it's rough.
Leave it.
Leave it.
Yeah.
But he said what he wanted to see happen. And we don't say enough what we want to see happen.
There's a lot about our power of our words.
Yes.
Isn't it?
So we often say, what is our current situation? And our current situation is that there was tragedy, there was trauma, it's bad, it's horrible. But we must begin to say what we want to see, which is Kenya is in its jubilee.
Right.
We are destined for greatness. No eye has seen what this nation is about to get into. I mean, Vision 2030 will come in fewer years than the 30 that we've planned for it. Because if we begin to say what we want to see happen, those things are bound to come to us. If we can believe it, if we can see it, and then begin to confess it, because there's a big deal about what we say.
Right.
We'll often say, oh, look, this.
I'm so sleepy, I'm so tired.
Oh, the VAT bill, who will buy the newspaper, who will buy milk, who will buy. We must say, you know what? If it's gone up, then even us, we must raise our level. We must begin to see.
It means there's a raise coming around the
It
corner.
means that there is a raise coming around the corner.
It's a good way to look at things.
We must begin to look at things that way. Because I say, and this is moving towards what has happened, that the greatest terror beyond what happened at Westgate is the one that's in our minds. That every day you're living in fear as opposed to living in faith, knowing that tomorrow will be better than yesterday. And
brilliant. I have goosebumps on that.
Goosebumps
really,
is
I do.
good.
I do.
Goosebumps is
that.
good.
Hold that thought. You're brilliant.
All right.
We have a caller on the line. Good morning. Can you hear me? Hi, Anne. Can she hear me? Neville, if I will request to turn up the volume in the studio. Can you hear me? All right. I think we'll try and get the caller back. I think there was a technical hitch there, but we'll try and get the caller back. Yes.
People having trouble with your line.
Imagine. I don't know how.
We gotta fix
and
that.
Call us back. Exactly. There is something huge, of course, with when a country is shaken beyond normalcy, beyond us trying to just live a normal life, trying to go about our business, and an enemy comes into our territory and attacks us from within, we can literally not figure out what happened yet. It's only been 8 days. Today is a big day for Kenya. Why is it important to stay grounded, to stay steadfast in your faith, regardless of your religion or background?
I think it's important that one, I think today is a fantastic time for us to come back to God, the beginning of a new month, almost letting go of the old month that was filled with so much drama and stuff that happened.
Yes.
I think that we must recognize our situation life is about things that have happened before and they repeat themselves. We read of a story David wrote in the Bible about how the enemy was coming and terrorizing the weak and the helpless. And sometimes we may think that God is not watching, or that he's closed his eyes, or that he doesn't care. But today I came to announce God cares about Kenya.
Right.
God loves Kenya. And we must go back to God and have him fix our issues. Because KDF, as wonderful as they are, cannot protect us from some of the things that the enemy has planned for Kenya.
Right.
Only God can do that. And so going back to God is saying, God, we give our lives to you, knowing that we don't wake up and cause ourselves to breathe.
Right.
That doesn't happen just naturally. It's because God loves us and he has a good plan for us. So going back to him and saying, we can't fix this on our own. We can't heal the heart of someone who's lost their wife and child.
However much we want to.
However much we can empathize.
Yeah.
We can say, you know what, we feel your pain, we feel sorry, but only God in his infinite power and wisdom can heal that heart and can help us as a nation heal and help us as a nation move on and help us as a nation see that he has a good plan. It's the year of Jubilee.
He does.
And he's the only one who will give us now the joy, the real joy. Because we can then smile. Today we are smiling. We're saying, okay, women's world.
Yeah.
But deep down inside.
We're still hurting.
And not just hurting. Some of us are living in fear. I was at the mall, another mall yesterday. And I was with a girlfriend and she asked, do you know where the exits are? And I was like, psychologically, in the subconsciously, you're thinking, what if something else happens? But
fear can paralyze.
And it did paralyze the nation for almost 4 days. So it was not just Westgate that was held hostage, but the entire country. And for me, I do want to challenge some of us in the media and the ones who send the messages and the tweets that we must begin to be positive. That we're not saying that what happened was not bad, but we're saying that if we begin to engage one another and bring positive. There were silver linings everywhere in that story.
Right.
There were many things that could have gone wrong that went right.
Yes.
You know, the many things that, and begin to focus on those things. But as we bring them to God, God will fix it. And by the way, there's no one who will go unpunished for doing evil.
Thank you, Nthenya, for saying that.
It may be slow, but the judgment and the punishment of God will come to those who do evil.
Thank you, Nthenya. I'm so happy we brought you here today.
I'm so happy you brought me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you must
Kate
call me again.
Back. We must. Kate is back on the line. Good morning, Kate.
Hi.
Anne, sorry. Why am I now naming you?
Hi, Anne.
Sorry. Hi Anne.
You both look so lovely.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah, okay. Hi, Nthenya. I want to ask you something. I'm a loctician. I did with dreadlocks.
Okay.
And I want to better myself because my work is really good. I know that, plus the referrals I get from people, I know it's good, but I want to change my look and everything so that I can get, because I'm targeting a certain clientele base. So I was asking, how can I do that? How can I get in touch with you so that you can train me in the whole process?
Okay.
All right, so I'll give you a very quick and wonderful answer to that. Nthenya has a website. We will put the link up on our social media platforms, Anne.
Okay.
And on her site, you'll get a lot of information as to what you've asked. Isn't that true?
It is. And I think for her, Anne, the big thing is that we are judged 55% based on how we look.
Yes.
And so it's a big deal how you look. And so it's a good place to be where you're saying you want to look the part so that people can then see your professionalism
Yeah.
as well as how you look.
Yeah.
So, as she said, we'll put the website up and
Yes.
you can reach me. I'm open. Come see me and we can fix the look.
Don't worry, it's gonna be fine.
Okay.
But yes, it's good. The change starts there the moment you decide.
The moment you've decided, by the way, that
Absolutely.
you want, and especially for branding, that people will know you as this kind of person.
Right.
Because we don't want you to have the wrong image and then people look at you and make a wrong judgment about you.
Right.
Because they'll decide whether they want to do business with you or not, just based on how you look.
Very, very important, of course. As we try to get Debal, who is at the KICC, and we wind up, let's talk about the fact that, yes, you sit here and you look like you have it together, and you say success for me is not a destination. I have a long way to go. Why is it important to stay steadfast when you have a dream and to see it through to the very end, literally until the day you meet your maker?
It's important because that's why we are alive. It's like a cell phone asking, why should I
Yeah, why should
why
I
should
have
I
my
call,
battery
text?
full? Yeah.
Why should I,
Yeah.
you know, a cell phone was created to do specific functions. And we were created with specific, the maker had specific roles and plans for us. And so it's a disservice for the phone to not do what it was created to do. So it's a disservice for us to one day wake up and say, imagine I don't feel like.
Yeah.
And there are days we wake up and we don't feel like, or we've been through stuff, and it's okay to take a break. It's okay to rest.
Yeah.
But when you're done resting, don't rest forever. Get back up, get back on it. Same thing I'll say to Kenya, get back up, rebuild, restore. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Because the plan that God has for us is a fantastic plan.
Absolutely.
And living it every day is not work. It's enjoying life.
It is enjoying life.
Yes.
Nthenya, next for you, any projects that are around the corner, apart from, of course, your mentorship program for young ladies?
I have quite a number.
You'll come back and tell us
I
about
will
it.
come back and tell you. I'm
She
working
never
on some.
rests.
But well, it's not. I do rest.
Yeah,
I do rest.
yeah.
And I'm married to this wonderful man
Yes.
who has grounded
Yeah,
me
okay.
and gotten me to slow down a little.
How's marriage?
Marriage is fantastic, Kobe.
Yes.
Let
Kenya.
me pass that. Yeah. All those guys who are just watching and seeing this chick and thinking she's out of your reach. Call the number on your screen.
Now
Kobe,
you see
I
what
wish
you've
you
just
all
done.
of God's blessings.
Thank you, love.
Marriage is wonderful.
Thank you, lovely.
It is.
Thank you
It
so,
is.
so much.
And it does open doors that had been closed before. So I'm wishing that for you.
Thank you. A wonderful, wonderful nomination. Thank you for nominating her for Women's World. She is one person who absolutely, just by her words, has encouraged not only me, I'm sure you at home as well. Nthenya, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having
Say
me.
hi
For
to
all
hubby.
who nominated
Yes.
me, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you very,
I
very
appreciate
much.
you and God bless.
Alrighty. So, smile. Take a look at the tube for today.